So Carlisle, in the previous episode, we spoke about the savings pot that everyone's very excited about being able to access. In this component, we're going to talk about the two pots that you can't access immediately if you're still working on the 1st of September, the vested pot and the retirement pot. So if after the 1st of September, I lose my job before retirement, what can I get out of my vested pot?
So the vested pot, as Inyasha said earlier, the same rules still apply. So in a pension and a provident fund, as we explained, when you leave service before retirement, you can access currently your full amount as a lump sum benefit. And the same rule will continue to apply to your vested pot going forward. So if you leave service, as you say, prior to retirement, you can still take that amount as a lump sum benefit. The only exception would be with the retirement annuity fund, because even under the current regime, you can't take it as a lump sum benefit. And so likewise, going forward, you won't be able to. But in a pension and provident fund, your vested component, when you leave service, you can still receive it as a lump sum benefit as you currently can.
Okay, now let's fast forward 5 years and I've been contributing 1/3 to the savings pot, 2/3 to the retirement pot. I've got quite a nice little bit now accumulated in my retirement pot. Now I lose my job before retirement. How much can I take out of my retirement pot?
So the rule now is that you cannot take anything out of your retirement pot when you leave service prior to retirement. The whole purpose of preservation, as you guys spoke about at the outset, is that that's the amount that you've got to keep on preserving until retirement. So you'll have options to either leave it in the existing fund, or you can transfer it to another fund, maybe like a preservation fund, but you cannot access it prior to retirement.
Sure, even though it's my savings.
Even though it's your savings, there is one exception, which is on immigration. So there is an exception built in around if you've immigrated and for a certain period, it's roughly 3 years and there's certain technicalities. But other than that, on immigration, you can't access that money until retirement.
So my retirement pot is saved for retirement. Now imagine I'm actually retiring from employment. So what can I take out of my vested pot after the 1st of September when I retire?
Okay, so we go back to what does the current regime provide for? So in a pension fund, you currently, compulsory annuitization applies. You can only take out a maximum of 1/3. You must annuitize the balance. So the same will apply to that vested portion on retirement after 1 September 2024. A maximum of 1/3, and you must use the balance to purchase an annuity. That's in a pension fund. The provident fund can get a little bit tricky because of the vested benefits from 2021. So
another vested.
Another vested. So now you've got vested benefits within a vested pot. Okay. So if you recall, what you've accumulated up until 2021 in a provident fund, at that time you were allowed to take it as a lump sum on retirement, regardless of your age. You still are. That amount is sitting in a vested pot. It has been there in a vested benefit since 2021. And that amount that was already accumulated in the provident fund, you can still take out as a lump sum. Everything you've accumulated after 1 March 2021 in the provident fund is subject to the same compulsory annuitization rule. There is an exception, which is if you were over 55 years of age on 1 March 2021 and you stay a member of that provident fund. Then you just continue contributing to that vested benefit and you can still take out the full lump sum when you reach retirement.
Right, so I've got a vested provident benefit within my vested component. Okay, I get it. Now, what can I take from my retirement component? Now I'm retiring. Now, surely I can access my retirement component. Is it also 1/3, 2/3?
It's not. It's not 1/3, 2/3 anymore, because now that full amount has to be used to purchase an annuity, whatever's in your retirement component.
So you mean buy a pension?
You have to buy a pension with it. And in theory, the 1/3 should be in your savings component. You shouldn't have withdrawn anything. But unfortunately, if you have, and there's nothing in your savings component, other than the vested component, which we've spoken about, there's nothing available for you to take a lump sum from the retirement component. That full amount must be used to purchase a pension.
So you can't commute to cash. You know, people always say, I'm going to commute some of my retirement savings. You can't commute any of your retirement pots.
Nothing of the retirement pot. Some of your vested pot, according to the rules that we discussed, your savings components, you can commute for a lump sum. Those are where your lump sums will come from on retirement. But your vested pot must be used to purchase a pension. There's one exception to that.
Ah, the lawyers, we love exceptions. What's the exception?
There is one exception, which is that if the amount in your retirement component, together with 1/3 of your vested components, is less than an amount prescribed in the Income Tax Act, which is referred to as the de minimis. If it's less, those two amounts together, then 165,000 Rand, then you can commute the balance in your retirement pot. So it's got to be less than a certain amount. But if 1/3 of your vested components and the full value of your retirement component is more than 165, then the compulsory annuitization that we've been discussing will apply.
Sure, I can see there's going to be lots of work for pension lawyers after this. So join us for the next episode, where we're going to talk about, I think, a few of the exceptions and some frequently asked questions, just to sum it all up.